Do you have any stories about crashed, lost, or corrupted art files?
Every week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just, it happens. That's the give and take, like with all the convenience of being a digital artist, the crashing of the computers and stuff getting corrupted, that's the, you know, the negative part. Like, it's just, you have to deal with it.
Do you have any one piece in particular, like say you spent like 50 hours on something and then you saved the file and you didn't have any backups, and in saving it, the file got corrupted, so it just, like, let's say, distorted the image or turned it into like a blank canvas or something, to where you totally entirely lost that whole piece and all the time you spent?
Luckily, that hasn't happened to me yet. The most I've lost is about 3 hours worth of work, and that was like what just happened. I was so mad. So I can only imagine when, like, I've had friends that have lost like entire projects and they're just losing their entire brain, and so I get it. So hopefully I won't have to go through that. I try to triple save everything. Like, I'll save stuff. I have the hard drive on the computer, an external hard drive, and I'll save stuff on a flash drive too.
That's good.
Just to make sure I don't go through that. Because I've had, like, power outages have done that to me. Just the power kicks off and I haven't saved in an hour and a half. And, you know, I got a virus once and it happened, and, like, I couldn't save anything, but I only lost a couple hours. Like, I've kind of gotten small, little bitty, a taste of that, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid it at all costs.
That's the good thing about working on a MacBook Pro rather than a desktop. You know, a laptop rather than a desktop is, if the power goes off, it just kicks into the battery rather than the mains.
Yeah.
So everything goes off, and I'm still there just going. My Wacom obviously turns off, but my computer's still fine.
Yeah.
Or if somebody walks past and kicks the lead, you know, if I'm working downstairs, I'm absolutely fine. I don't know why they don't do that with desktop computers, why they can't just build in a little reserve battery.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, just take a laptop battery, fit it in, and that way if the power cord gets yanked or something like that, it just goes battery. Because I remember when I used to work on desktops, that happened a lot. And it's, yeah, it's annoying. I did have one piece that I worked on, and it happened to me, and it was a massive file, and I think it was the fact that it was such a big file. This was years ago, and the file was over a gig, and I think it might have been the fact that it was over a gig that caused it to corrupt.
Yeah, when they start to get kind of big, it gets a little sketchy.
Yeah.
I've had
these days nothing I do is kind of below 2.5, but yeah, it kind of corrupted. I could see it on the preview, the tiny little thumbnail still was visible, but when you opened it up, kind of half of the image was inverted and a bit pixely, and the other half of the image was just black. It's, what do you do with this? You can't do anything.
Yeah, that happened to me too. I was working on a piece. I probably put in maybe 8 to 10 hours on it, and it was pretty much near finished. And somewhere in saving the file, and this is before I was super paranoid about my artwork and would save tons and tons of iterations. I only had one copy, or maybe the iteration I had was like mostly finished and I hadn't saved any in-between versions. But whatever happened, I saved the file, and then when I opened it the next time, it was like you said, half of it was black, and then the other half was like these weird pixelated areas that didn't look anything like the image. And then so I spent maybe a couple hours trying to find a way to like recover the image and scan my hard drive to look for like older versions, even in like, you know, doing like an in-depth kind of recovery scan. Didn't get anything back, and then finally realized the more time I spend trying to get the file back and I won't get it back, and that's exactly what I did. I just immediately repainted the whole thing, and lesson learned. I've had 2 or 3 instances where my hard drives have crashed, and I nearly lost like years and years of artwork. I'm talking like everything, like my artwork, my ideas, my music compositions, everything. And when your hard drives die, you can't just take them in somewhere and have them take everything off of it. I mean, some places will do that, but there's not a 100% success rate, and it's expensive. It's like hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars to do that.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I found some recovery software that like deep scans your drive and looks for like old overwritten files and things. And I got pretty much all of my artwork back except for like one piece, which I'd spent probably about 30 or 40 hours on. It was like a really elaborate piece. That one was gone, and then I lost all of my audio compositions. I like compose music, and so there's these compositions that I spent a couple of years on, and some of them doing each instrument and mixing it and like even moving all the notes around and everything. Fortunately, I still had the MP3s, but I don't have the original compositions, so I can't like go back and work on them or ever finish them.
Yeah,
But it was a real wake up. It's like coming home and finding your house burned down, you know, and all of your artwork is gone. I was lucky.
It's the same feeling as being burgled, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
It's
that chunk
gone.
of your life, all of that effort you put in, poof, it's gone. And you know, maybe in the future, some people will appreciate digital art a little bit more in a fine art sense because it is as fragile as an oil painting. You know, it's more fragile. It's just electrons. You know, little magnetized areas of a magnetic platter. It's not anything at all. And if you don't keep it backed up 2, 3, 4 times, it doesn't exist. You know, it might as well be nothing. So I back things up on my website, external hard drives, multiple internal hard drives. Sometimes I'll burn disks. Sometimes I'll use flash drives. You know, you can't back up enough if you really care about that stuff.
Exactly.
So
I think we've all had instances, haven't we, of things going wrong, and we've all lost work. I mean, the good thing is we've got our websites. So even if we lost absolutely everything, we've got a portfolio still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there are images that prove we exist as artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know they can go missing at the drop of a hat as well, but
Yeah.
the chances of that happening at the same time are virtually nil.